Welcome back to the show. Today's topic: let her spoil you, but not in a scummy way. So before I get into it and before I go down my bullet points uh, again, before I get into the subject or the topic, I'm coming this from a modern perspective, 2021 and beyond. Uh, I'm not. This is not a discussion about alpha and beta, and if you do feel a certain way, there's definitely a discussion, and I'll get to it. There's definitely a part, and I have a repeating part because it's definitely a line to be walked. And late 90s, early 2000s, there was a stigma that came along with women making more money and paying for things and just treating a guy a certain way. And there was even a couple of shows that I could remember that try to normalize that, but it hasn't been until now, 2021, and more currently, I guess, just the 2020s and 2021 and where we're heading. Women are becoming more powerful, more influential. The feminist movement, more rights, we're doorsteps away from a president, and uh, the feminist movement has, yeah, I say it like with a question. The feminist movement has kind of normalized or wants to normalize that fact that it should be okay for women to make more than men and not feel emasculated like they did back in the forever ago and beyond, because it's not really just uh, something about the late 90s and early 2000s. If you ask an older gentleman from the 80s, 70s, 60s, and if there were some still alive in the 40s, and it would be like, oh no, it would almost shock them. And you definitely hear this with the, and it's been something that's blown up actually in the last 4 years, where this whole masculinity kind of counterbalance to the feminist movement. And I definitely understand the appeal to it, like old tradition values and doing stuff as men and holding up strong mindsets and all that great stuff. And again, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It sounds good because that's what we are accustomed to, and because there's this lack of how to deal with the changing dynamics so quickly. I mean, I had to tell someone, and I might, I'm sure I'm wrong about the time. I'm sure it's more or less whatever, but it hasn't been 70 years, at least in the United States, where women were at one point in the in social, dynamic, to where they are now. Like I already said how many things, we have seen and we're going to see with women. CEOs, I mean, co-workers. I mean, how many people now have jobs where maybe in old enough where you had jobs in the early 2000, and now you look at the workspace now and it's changed. Not just with women, of course. It's been more with everyone. You know, uh, but it's just the way things are. And though I'm not disarguing the message of being traditional and holding those kind of values, but that's not where the majority of women that are going. What's the projection of women? Like, women aren't going to slow down. We're not going to not have them earn that money. They're not going to be self-driven. They're not going to do their own thing, because that's how we're way past that. And I get the despair and how men feel they can't find no one, and women can't find no one. And it's because there's this too much information. And oh, I think women want this, and oh, I think men, women think, oh, I need to think, men want this. And I just think people aren't realizing what is, and are making it more complicated than it needs to be. And coming off of it from a social, like I said, just a, what social economic standpoint, where if women are making more, which is a good thing for men, that the feminist movement or women want to, are saying that shouldn't matter if I make more than you. If I want that experience, then we should do it. That's a healthy mindset. And that's the mindset we should go to. And I get that the popular thing or what's trending is to counter that. And it's just dumb because that's not what the numbers say. The numbers say people are miserable. And women don't mind spoiling men. It's done over and over again. And in a lot of ways, very, very scummy. And yet women keep on doing it, man after man after man. Now, we're not here to discuss high value, low value. I make this much money. I make this much money. I'm just talking in general population, public, like what the sorry, my headphones fell and I couldn't listen. I'm just straight talking about just the average, you know, man and woman making. I mean, if we want it, we can attach science to it, but then I'm gonna have to, go into a farther deep because it's not really even about money, because just in my own personal experience, it just doesn't matter, what the bracket is. It really just is, and at the end of at the bottom of the list or at the end of the line, it still has to be that flow to it, and only in your circumstances. But a lot of women complain that us men, we get offended when a woman makes more, that we get emasculated, and women don't understand, of course, that we're coming from programming just the same way that they've come from programming. We've been programmed to now become this version of ourselves. What's the popular phrase now is beta males, that guys have become now, that are now taking over, and women are craving this alpha macho masculine thing. And again, whether it's been you could correlate that scientifically with data that it came with the president and the rise of the president. That's neither here nor there, but it was because it was put on the forefront, like, and it's made it more like, oh, this is it. But that's not where we're going. And even in the president's thing, I mean, his daughter is being, she's probably going to end up being our first president, and you probably heard it here first, because that's what he's doing with her. So it's, that's just the way the way the world is going, the way America is going, the way USA is going. We're moving towards women making more money and being more financially powerful than us. And the message we're telling men is, you need to then, if you want to be this class of men, you have to out earn her. Well, it's not going to happen. The average medium income projection for women in where it's going as a 4x to where it's going in men is ridiculous, unless we have like this huge switch in some kind of mindset, of religion, of forcing it. I don't see a way. So I'm in the camp of, we have to adapt at the same token in self-betterment and all that stuff. I mean, it's nothing but adaptation. So this new way of dating, this new way of going about it, is something that we as men have to be adapted to or be flexible on, because women don't care. Like I said, they've done it over and over again. I've experienced, I'm sure you ask a man, ask around and see how many women have spoiled them, have bought them stuff, have taken them on trips, have, paid for bills, have gone out of their way to do things. And again, a majority of them do it in a scummy way, and it's unfortunate, but that isn't always the case, because that's what women are created that way. And by created, and I'm going to get to this point, and I'm going to go through my points fairly quickly, but they're giving in nature. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be, loving, giving. So when you give them you give them a lot of money, they're gonna be like, wow, I feel this way about them, and they're impulsive. They do what they do, and they're oh my god, I feel so crazy about him. I want to buy him Nikes, and all of a sudden, like, dudes be like, oh shit, she bought me Nikes, yo, and we just think it like, oh, she worships me and whatnot, but she's not thinking of it like that. She's just saying, I really like this dude. I want to buy him some shoes, and that's it. And she has no other alternative. She doesn't see it different. She doesn't go off on, it's just that raw emotion. She likes you, she thought about you, she has the extra money, it doesn't fuck with her, she buys it, and she gives it to you, and we take it as, oh shit, she's whipped, she is sprung on me. And that could be further from the case. How do I know? Because chicks do this to multiple guys. Again, I'm not talking to all women, or but there's the women that are in that bracket that make money, and you guys know, I'm not saying they're single, married with kids, because I've seen them all. But if you're making a certain amount of money, it's what happens. Then for the most part, it's stuck in relationship where you see girls that buy too many shoes, that buy too many purses, that buy too much shit. But as soon as they get that boyfriend, oh, they start boom, boom, or that man that they like, they just put that attention on them. And if it breaks down, guess what? They'll just start being more spoiled, just to go back to their normal spoiling themselves, as they call them, that self-care. But as soon as that other guy comes, boom, they do it again. And they might bitch about it, but that's just what they do. Because why? They're successful. That's what the message is. Oh, it's all about equality, and do you, and date you, and make yourself happy. And for some women now, it's become normal. So that's what I'm trying to get across here, is that in this whole dating thing that's going on, or just moving through life, and just this man male dynamic in the Western world, and just here in the United States, to be specific, because honestly, I mean, I can't say I know dating in Canada, but I couldn't imagine anything but the horror stories that I'm being told about it. I'm just kidding. But here in the States, I mean, women are making more, and honestly, man, they don't mind it. They don't mind taking you to dinner. They don't mind buying you some shoes. They don't mind you going and making you, having experiences with you, and taking you along for the ride. But many men ruin good relationships with powerful women like this, or women in this space, because they feel emasculated. They feel, and again, it's no shame to us, because that's what's been told to us. But honestly, it's something that needs to die down, and it needs to be what it is. Because if the roles were reversed, if we really liked, and I preach this all the time, and I'm saying, if you have the expendable income, and you want to live a certain kind of fucking life, do you? I could care less what it is. No one in this world should ever live a life that they do not want to live. So if you want to enjoy luxuries, and it doesn't fuck with your budget, and it doesn't fuck with your life, and you're not, I mean, I could even take it to a darker side. Who gives a fuck if it hurts you, if it does what? At the end of the day, if you want to spend your money and drive a Lamborghini, and that's all you can afford, and you want that experience, do you? If you want to be a old ass dude and travel the world with hot, beautiful women, hey, you know what? God bless you. Do you? Because God knows, everyone knows, we only have this life. The whole "you only live once" and all this message and self. If that's the whole case, then again, do you? Just don't be a douche for us men. Don't take advantage, because that's when you cross in and you have these stories, and sometimes we can't, again, we can't be in control of what people say and how they react. And even if we end and do everything cordially and right, at the end of every relationship, there's a hero and a villain. And if you're telling the story, you're the hero. Hardly you're saying, oh, I'm the villain. No, you're always the hero and they're the villains. And that's what is going to happen. But in this day and age, it's kind of just what women do, because again, it's in their nature. And again, as men, we have to get comfortable and not feel emasculated, because that's what's happening now. You could take your own advice. When I hear a lot of people, oh, what they could do, then pick up the tip or say, hey, let me chip in if you feel uncomfortable. But a lot of men, like I was saying, throw away great relationships because they feel emasculated. They feel beneath, they less than. Oh, I can't contribute. Oh, I can't do this. Where they don't care. Yet we hear about this, oh, let's build, we need to build this together. Oh, no women want to do this and no women want to do that and take the time. And it's like, but they won't tell you that part. They won't tell you that, oh yeah, she out earns me and I felt kind of weak in the relationships. No, they won't do that. They want to focus on the little thing. And then, oh yeah, it's because she cheated. It's because she did this. It's because she did. But at the core of it, he couldn't handle the fact that she out earned, and she was okay with it and was buying him stuff, was doing certain things. And it could, when it goes into the scummy, like when you think you're God, and then you start saying, oh, I'm gonna use this. So now I'm gonna say, oh, I really like this, and she buys it. Oh, I want the new PS5, and she gets it. That's $600 plus a game. She just dropped a G on you, fool. And you're like, oh, you're just bragging. You're just posting it on your secret account and shit, and your man forums and all that stuff. And to a woman, she just it's nothing to her. It's her Christmas bonus or something like that. Just lightweight, whatever. You're looking at it if it was the holiest thing of anything. Like, oh, look at how sprung she is on me, and she's buying me shoes. It's not that way, because women are making that kind of money. But when the women want to, of course, take it seriously, then the real talk happens, because we'll continue to hit. Why? Because I'm getting Jordans, I'm getting fucking colognes, I'm getting all this shit. But when she wants to take it to the next level, that's when you're like, oh shit, let me bail, but I'm not gonna give none of this shit back, or do some shady shit, like I'm gonna break everything, just even whatever, or start drama with her for whatever reasons, because she cuts you off as to taking a monster account. And that's the norm now, as opposed to the other way. Like, oh, we hear the horror stories in marriages, they had the divorce and stuff like that, but dating, oh my god, we want to play the victim. And that's why I don't think it's the other. Anyways, we love to play the victim, or we're starting to like to play the victim as men. And I'm glad that I do see, taking ownership. But god damn, in the dating game, and that's just because women women don't care. Women make the money, but again, they're lonely for a reason. And not to I probably came off wrong, but they feel a certain way, not that you need anyone to feel complete, because at the end of the day, oh, I don't want to die alone. You're gonna die alone. I don't care if you're married, if you're the closest, someone's gonna die first. And when you die, that's it. They're not gonna go with you. You might think, oh yeah, when I die, they're gonna die with me. They're not gonna die. So you're gonna die by yourself. And but at I hate when I go down into a dark area. But anyways, women don't see a problem, is my point, in spending money. I mean, but what I do want to emphasize also is, if you're not okay with it, if you're a man, and I say this all the time, you should stick to your standards and your boundaries. And for you, if you know that you don't like it, I'm telling you, you're fighting a trend that's going to continue. You're going to come across women that just make more money than you. Don't let everyone talk to you and tell you, and don't talk yourself into you having to do it, because corporations are favoring giving women these huge raises or making more money. And if you're talking about those businesses that are headline businesses that are on Yahoo Business or Google, trending and are popular, forget it, yo. Like you will never catch up with her, because that's just what the market is dictating. Why? And not even that. Women spend more than men. So as far as for economy, I mean, that's just what it is. And since that's what the world tells us women like to spend, and men getting mad about it makes no effing sense. But it makes sense. Oh yeah, it shouldn't make sense when it's her money. Yeah, but if it's her money when she spends it on you, and she wants a relationship, that's when you trip. That's when that happens, and that's when it's being scummy. That's when you're being useful. Again, you don't have to go on a date. You don't have to accept nothing. You don't have to do none of that stuff. You can set down boundary and say, nope, it's a deal breaker. I want to make more than the woman. Then you know what? My hat's off to you and good luck. But this whole thing, this whole rant has been that it's okay to let her spend, to let her spoil you. It's okay to let her, pay for trips, but it's also okay to say no. And again, and the proper thing, and someone might have well, what if it continues like that? What if you're okay, but then you feel like you're losing attraction, or you start fighting too much, and your sense of breakup? Whenever you lose, sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes you meet someone that makes so much fucking money that when you first meet them, the first place you meet them is, you would have to give out like your whole 2 months checks to be able to cover what the fuck kind of experience she was trying to do. So sometimes you come into that kind of world where, you're never, most men won't even go on there. Some will just use it for that experience, but I mean, you're never going to be able to match that, just because again, the flex power is completely in her favor. But so sometimes you can't. She's too beautiful. She just hits, she visually, she was right. Oh shit, I didn't know she made this much. What did I get into? All these scenarios, I get it. Sometimes you don't, and you can't help it. She dropped a couple G's on you. You know what? You live and you learn, right? And you can't. But if there is no attraction, and you're not scummy, you have values, you have ethics, and you don't want to use it. When she buys you something, a Rolex or something, a bracelet, a gold watch, a chain, she wants to do a vacation, you reject it, you deny it, you say no, I don't want to. Now if she insists, and I got it from you, say no, it's too soon for gifts and stuff. No, I insist, and I don't really feel comfortable, because what if we break up, and then I'm gonna feel weird about, oh no, you'll never have to get. And if she's insistent, because people like that are that kind of way, so you at some point you're gonna have to be okay with taking it. And that's where this whole switch, no, not switch, this misconnection between women and men is happening, because the income disparity is in. Everyone wants to talk about, oh, men make more money, men make more money. No. It may be in older people, but like, let's say 45 and under, it's not that way. It's not that way. Women are making that, hustling like 2 or 3 jobs in some instances if they're single. Like, you're fighting this upward battle, because they've been told, hey, don't depend on the man. You're gonna do it for the message that we were hearing basically in the early 80s is the message that they've been hearing now, paraded for like the last 25 years or whatever. So it is what it is. So you have to be okay with it. Doesn't mean you can't contribute. Doesn't mean you're a beta. Doesn't mean you're like, oh, you're succumbing. No. And if you think that way, trust me, you're missing out on experience. Again, you should never base anything on financial win and gain and or losses or whatever. And you should never see people that way. But if you know yourself as men, and we know ourselves, right? So if we would do it, if I had a ton of fucking money and it didn't matter to me, and I was going to take out this pretty little thing or whatever you find fucking attractive, there is no limit to what I'm going to drop. Why? Because, I want to get into her pants, because I've been dating her for a fucking while. Whatever situation it is, she's my wife. It's whatever. I don't fucking know. But if me talking to you right now, if I knew me, if I had like 10 million in the bank and my success was off the chart, and I met someone and I wanted to take her to a fucking restaurant that was like $500 a plate, guess what? She better be okay with that, because that's where I'm going. She could be like Maria from fucking, oh, I make $35,000 as a housekeeper. Cool, bro. I mean, cool, sis. But I'm gonna take you to a place that goes 500. That's gonna be like a week of your check. Are you okay with being with a man like that? And of course, for men, oh yeah, it should be men. Yo, that's perfect. That's the way it should be. But when it's the other way, when women are now, I want to take you out to, oh no, it's emasculating. Oh, I'm a simp. I'm a beta cuck. I'm a this. I'm a that. And again, I hate that terminology. It's just negative fucking energy. But again, for the sake of everybody understanding, that's where we are now. So try to use morals, try to use fucking, don't be a douche in any aspect. I went over none of my fucking notes. I still have that. This whole thing could go on for probably another 30, but I think I will be beating the horse, because I think I went roughly around the whole thing. We just have to be okay. It just is what it is. I get the appeal of the argument of old-fashioned values, but women's movements, women's salaries, it's not stopping. It's not going away. It's not something that, so us as men, it's cool when we, as far as the how can I rephrase it? It's gonna come out more in the dating sense, but if we just are flexible with interacting with women in dating and relationships, you'll have tons more fun, because there's open communication flowing both ways. And again, women, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm fucking wrong, and if I'm wrong, women will fucking probably tell me that I'm wrong. But I hear it over and over. They don't care. They don't care. It didn't matter to me. I paid for almost everything, and it didn't matter to me. Oh, and when guys say it, I was like, oh yeah, it was dating some side dude, or some low life, some this, some that, some this. But when that happened to you, oh, you felt emasculated, and for you hold to old true values and old school mentality. I think you're just being a bitch and can't adapt to the modern times and how women are, and be like, cool, fuck it. Oh, because then you become scummy, right? Because then you're scummy when you're like, look, he's just letting her fucking use you. Oh, man, nope. Equality. Fucking quality. So I hope I made you guys think. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for listening. Again, have a great night.